he's the one who has reached his ceiling, not the EFF. And I believe that hopefully in the next conference, he will be challenged, preferably by someone who's an intellectual, perhaps a person like Floyd Shivambu. I think Floyd will do a much better job leading the EFF than Julius Malema. But I think we should be definitely thankful for the work that Julius has done. But then I think we at this point, there needs to be a transition of power. He should remain within the EFF, but then not lead the organization. But I do not believe that he is extremely. They are crybabies, man. They are crybabies, and they need to be taught a lesson. I feel that President Jacob Zuma is the right person right now to do that, and also the fact that they've been pegged back and taken below 40%. I think that will hopefully teach them a bit of humility. And they always speak about
grade 6 is a grade before you leave
primary.
Yes. And you were what?
Over 150 kgs.
In primary school?
In primary school.
Okay.
And I used to hide that. They'd ask how much I weigh, I'd say 80. An active member. So
you quit EFF because you could not get a t-shirt size?
No.
What made you leave the EFF? Because fully at heart, you've always been, since your student active days, you've always been an EFF. And I have to tell you, when I saw you going to vote for the EFF, I was like, okay.
I went to the University of Limpopo. I wasn't at all gravitating towards politics. I wasn't even thinking about politics up until Julius Malema started coming to the university, addressing us. And that was somewhere around the time when which he was being ousted from the Youth League. And then when he formed the EFF, I felt that the policies of the EFF align with what I think South Africa should be. And that is why I was one of the first people to make the call to say we need to have a student command here at the University of Limpopo.
Morning, people of Politically Incorrect. Today we've got a big podcast. I'm hosted at Spola Studios. He will introduce to us who is he and what is his political opinion. My channel Politically Incorrect, let me not waste your time. You're all probably wondering, where am I? Who am I with? You'll get all the answers. Spola, please hit it away. Tell them who you are and where you're from.
Good day, viewers of Politically Incorrect. My name is Elon Mogale. I'm a communications specialist. I studied communications at the University of Limpopo. I'm a political sympathizer of the EFF. I'm not actually a member, but I agree with their ideologies and also most of their policies. I'm also a reality TV show star, if I can say. There's a show that I'm on Moja Love called Heavyweight. I think we'll talk about that also during the interview.
Let me drop the mic for you. Let me do this for you.
All right.
Yeah, that's proper. So Spola, you say you are a political sympathizer of the EFF. Please explain it for me. Explain it for me.
Sure. So, I was a member of the EFF previously, but then a lot of things happened. I got disgruntled, and then I got out of the EFF. I think in 2019? That was the only time in which I didn't cast my vote for the EFF. But most of the time, I've always voted because I agree with their policies. And yeah, I think it's about time really that we get a government like the EFF that is a radical government for this country and that will prioritize black people. So yeah, in that sense, I can say I'm a sympathizer, but not necessarily a member, an active member.
So you quit EFF because you could not get a t-shirt size?
No.
What made you leave the EFF? Because fully at heart, you've always been, since your student active days, you've always been an EFF. And I have to tell you, when I saw you going to vote for the EFF, I was like, okay, we're going to hear a lot of stories, this love-hate relationship with you and the EFF.
Yes.
Why did you leave EFF and why did you come back? Okay, you did not come back. Why did you?
In 2013,
Yeah.
I was part of a group at the University of Limpopo that started the political organization, the EFF political organization within the university. So it's an organization that I've always had an affinity with. I've loved, but then later on in the years when unemployment struck after graduating, I tried to get volunteering positions, not necessarily working positions within the EFF, volunteering positions in the headquarters of the EFF, and also appealed to most of the members in the hierarchy to help me with regards to my weight loss and things like that. So when that didn't happen, I got disgruntled. And I left the organization. But then eventually sanity prevailed, and I didn't go back. But then I continued to advocate for them as an organization.
So you do agree with me? You are a fighter at heart. No matter how much you try to ignore it.
Always have been. Always will be.
Okay, so Spola, before we talk about your politics, I want you to talk about your upbringing. I've obviously known you from the day you were wearing diapers. I just want to understand, give us a snippet of your childhood and why did you become a Spola that we know, fighter Elon and all of that, because I want us to discuss your weight so we get this big elephant out of the room, and then we'll talk your politics.
Yeah. So I've always been the biggest child in the room when I was young. In everywhere I go, every room I'm in, I'm always the biggest. So if I remember in crèche, I played Goliath in the school play. So even then, you see, I was a big boy. So also I think around grade 6, I weighed I think over 150 kilos in grade 6. So
wait, grade 6 is a grade before you leave
primary. Yes.
And you were what?
Over 150 kgs.
In primary school?
In primary school.
Okay.
And I used to hide that. They'd ask how much I weigh, I'd say 80. and most would believe me.
Yeah.
And then they would say, no, we believe him because they thought they were scientific then.
Yes.
They'd say it's the bones that carry most of the weight. So so maybe he has small bones, and then just a big build. But I'll use that to my advantage and just get away with it. So yeah. I went to Refile, which is primary school, which is a school here in Namakale. Went to Lebeko. And then I also went to another school called Meridian. And that's where I really experienced sort of discrimination against me as an obese person. And then after only a year, I left there and went back to Lubeko to finish my school, in which I finished my school career. And then, yeah.
And then you jump into University of Limpopo around which years?
It was in 2011. I went to
2011.
Yes.
So when the student command started, you were already a senior at
yes, I was doing my third year.
Okay.
Yes, for 4-year degree program.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you gravitate towards the EFF, or it was the group of friends that you were with were going towards it? What made you choose the EFF? Because, I mean, the student command was nowhere in universities at the time. Your big SASCOs, those guys were big. What made you choose the EFF?
So I have to take it back again.
Yeah.
I remember when I was doing grade 7, I was reading HSS. I was very good at HSS, which is history.
Let me adjust your mic a bit. Let me put it here and see. Yeah, let's see.
So I was, when I was doing grade 7, I was good at HSS, which has to do with history and things like that. So I realized then that the ANC was not the political party that liberated South Africa.
Okay.
In fact, I believed then as a young child really that it was the PAC that should have been the liberating party and should have gotten the spoils really of liberation.
Yeah.
Because I feel that the ANC only hijacked. I still feel that the ANC only hijacked the work that was done by the PAC, because they had a good PR. Yes, most of their leaders had good PR. So when I went to the University of Limpopo, I wasn't at all gravitating towards politics. I wasn't even thinking about politics up until Julius Malema started coming to the university, addressing us, and that was somewhere around the time when which he was being ousted from the Youth League. And then when he formed the EFF, I felt that the policies of the EFF align with what I think South Africa should be. And that is why I was one of the first people to make the call to say we need to have a student command here at the University of Limpopo. Yes. And in order for us to contest the 2013 elections.
Do you remember your contemporaries, the guys, the founding students that you were with in the University of Limpopo who were instrumental at around that time? It could not be maybe in the same class year, or maybe, but the people who were in campus during your time, you were in campus and who maybe went on to become career politicians.
Most of them who I remember were from SASCO, because they are the ones that actually went on to become career politicians. In the EFF, we had people like Mogela Nicodemus, who is still a member of the EFF even today, and another one called Mahlatse, who eventually went to SASCO. Others like Dingan, who was the first chairperson of the student command, and but then most of them actually went back to the ANC after a while. Yes.
So hunger drove them away.
I think so.
because let's admit it. So you see, what is driving people away? That's according to me, and my politics are always incorrect. What is driving people away from the EFF is no one wants to start building something, especially if it's not theirs. So, for example, there are no structures to allow eating in the EFF because they do not control funds.
Exactly. Yes.
And you would see it even in your communities. Someone told me that it's easy to be on the pole in the EFF because chances of winning that ward are not
slim.
they're very slim.
Sure.
Once you start to gain enough popularity in your ward where being on your pole means you might be a councillor, you would see the fight start.
The contestation.
So maybe it could be that. But being the resident, I'm interested in the way you are putting ANC as the ones who then came forward to maybe to erase the participation of other liberation movements out of our history. They don't make enough effort to tell you about who APLA was and who other struggle, maybe armed wings of other struggle. They were. They take credit for June 16. They want to take credit for Sharpeville. Everything they want to take over. So as a consequence to that, and they went with Umkhonto Wesizwe. And for people who are young like you don't remember when we grew up, we had an idea of what Umkhonto Wesizwe is. And we just knew this character in our heads of group of people who went abroad. And when they come back, the real liberation will start. And of course, I was telling Komde that we actually don't know much about the MK because MK people don't really tell you full stories about MK. They are shy to come on podcast and tell us. When they die, white people come and write books about them, that they heard about them in certain corners. So we don't know. So the MK that we have today, the work that is done by Jacob Zuma, that is done today, people are saying it is replacing the real MK, what the real MK was supposed to do, because these guys have taken it. And in a way, you sit and you think about it, whether Elon, you start thinking, this MK was not stolen. It's the same MK, the MK of Jacob Zuma. It's maybe the same MK of old, because this one have lost the generational and multi-generational mission of emancipating black people. And then these guys say, there is a vehicle that we already have. Because I've said in the podcast, the ANC has no monopoly on our struggle.
No.
They can't claim, they don't have property rights on our struggle. It's everyone's struggle. So if Umkhonto Wesizwe, meaning the spear of the nation, and people feel we want to continue with this National Democratic Revolution through MK, why should the ANC take MK to court? Because the struggle was never the ANC struggle. How can they want intellectual property on something that they do not own? And I'm not MK. I'm a media practitioner, and I see this as a travesty of justice, because now these people are now career politicians. When you take something that they think they have property over it, I mean, it's, this thing, I've debated it when they were going to court. I want you to unpack it for you who's younger than me. What is your thinking? Because as an old person, I'm telling you, the struggle was for all African people. And MK stole what, according to ANC, they stole what is their priority. So in other words, ANC is saying they own the struggle, and these guys must not own something that belongs to them. So they own us. ANC owns us. Our struggle, because the word struggle, people confusing it. It's ours. So the ANC wants to claim what owner was Sure. They don't want to own freeing us. They want to own our struggle. Yes. I want you to unpack it. What's your understanding about the whole thing as a young person?
Going back to I think it was 2008 when COPE was formed.
Yes, Congress of the People.
Yes, the Congress of the People. The ANC took COPE to court.
Yes.
To fight for the name COPE.
Yes.
And then it's as if they feel that in the ANC, they feel that they have a copyright of all the events, struggle events that occurred and all the struggle names. And now with the MK, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's a cycle repeating itself. But then you wonder, why is it that other political parties don't do that when the ANC hijacks their struggles? Because the ANC has for a while hijacked the work of other political parties, the work of the people mostly, and not even political parties, the work of the people, and they've made it seem for a long time that it is their work that led to this freedom that we enjoy today. And I feel that the ANC is extremely, they are crybabies, man. They are crybabies, and they need to be taught a lesson. I feel that President Jacob Zuma is the right person right now to do that. And also the fact that they've been pegged back and taken below 40%, I think that will hopefully teach them a bit of humility. And they always speak about the education, political education. I think most within the ANC actually lack that, and they need to reevaluate whatever education that they are giving to people and have a new curriculum within the ANC, have a new political curriculum, because this one is not working, and they are failing not only themselves but the people who they are supposed to be working for. They are failing South Africans, and hopefully this will be a good lesson for them to learn.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So I'm calling you a young person. People don't understand why I say you are a young person. Are you free to disclose when were you born?
1992.
92.
Yes.
And so in South Africa, when we say someone is young, it's like if Musi Maimane takes over and become president of the country. In Africa, he's a young president.
Sure.
So, but people must just understand that part. To say if someone young it's a very fluid age in Africa. So he's born in 92. That makes you
31 going on 32.
Yeah, 31, 32. So his youth, and he's going to carry that until he's 42, 45, because that's what a young person in our politics means. So, Spola, you have seen EFF grow. This is the 10th year of the EFF. You have seen it grow, and you have obviously witnessed how it changed, and you changed with it. The EFF has reached a ceiling. I do not see the EFF growing more numbers than it is. It took them 10 years to sell an idea to African people to say, Africans, this is what we must do. And everyone that they have called out, people have came to join.
Yeah.
People have came to vote. People have came to sympathize with the EFF. And now we are among those people.
Yeah.
And the people who still do not vote EFF doesn't mean they have not heard of the EFF.
The message, yeah.
They have heard the EFF. And MK has humbled the EFF to an extent that says, no, these are your numbers, and this is our numbers. So you look at, I was calculating the other day, ANC, MK, EFF.
Yeah.
They reach 66%, and that is, those are the numbers that you need.
To change.
Yeah, those are the numbers that you need to change.
The constitution.
Yeah, so the same numbers that we were 10, 15 years ago. These are the same numbers of African people voting for Africanness. So, meaning the DA can be defeated only if black people are united. Let's first unpack the ceiling of the EFF, where you think the EFF can grow more than this. Please, they are at 10% now.
Yes.
What do you think, how far can the EFF go?
I think the potential of the EFF is not limited, it's unlimited currently.
In terms of growth?
In terms of growth.
Okay, let's see.
The reason behind that is, I believe that they just need a change in terms of their messaging and also their messenger. The EFF.
Okay, say it and wait.
The EFF is, most of the time they've been saying the same thing, but then there was a point in which they started amplifying a message that does not go along with what South Africans want. And I think we all know that message when which Julius Malema started advocating for free borders, free open borders and free entry into the country.
Yeah.
So I think that is one thing that has helped the EFF, especially in this election. Also, the persona of Julius Malema, I think he's the one who has reached his ceiling, not the EFF. And I believe that hopefully in the next conference, he will be challenged, preferably by someone who's an intellectual, perhaps a person like Floyd Shivambu. I think Floyd will do a much better job leading the EFF than Julius Malema. But I think we should be definitely thankful for the work that Julius has done. But then I think we at this point, there needs to be a transition of power. He should remain within the EFF, but then not lead the organization. But I do not believe that if he leaves, he'll remain in the EFF, because he has extreme delusions of grandeur. And but hey, if it happens that he leaves, we'll see. Okay,
so I've got the advantage of seniority. So when the EFF was founded, so I was obviously older than you. One of the things I said was, all these guys, they were youth league age.
Yes.
All of these guys had longevity. But what happens with longevity, because it was at the time we were criticizing Zuma for being COSATU for many years.
Yeah.
You see, of saying to other people, you will not be seen as a Democrat the longer you sit. And you have raised it, because I didn't ask you what were the issues. You asked, the first issue you stated about EFF could still grow. The problem is impeded by the messaging of Julius Malema, talking about open borders. I've said many times that I don't think the open border, Julius Malema is right about open borders. The problem is the message that he says. People, his enemies are using it, and the EFF takes light to people who are misconstruing what they say, because it's a noble idea, but his detractors are using the very same good idea to his detriment, and he ignores it. But that ignorance is driving a lot of people away. They may not be significant, but people are using it to his disadvantage. Number two, you spoke about him being challenged. You know, and it goes back to my first point. I doubt Floyd has the charisma, the soundbite effect, the crowd pulling that Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma have.
No, that's true.
Because the battle for the mind and soul of the EFF, it's not cult. and it's unfair to label them as a cult. It's the same thing with Jacob Zuma. People were willing to vote for MK even before Jacob Zuma could tell them what MK stood for.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. The same Julius Malema had.
Sure.
These are the two South African politicians that no one can match. No one can match Julius Malema.
No, yes.
You understand?
Sure.
And I understand what you're saying, because you are saying they need to change the messenger and the messaging. I agree with you. I want to ask you now, I'm giving back to you. How are they going to do it? Because in politics of South Africa, you can look at DA. Helen Zille moved away, but she didn't move away. I can mention a lot of examples in the ANC where Ramaphosa came back. They need something to go and keep them busy. But where are you going to park Julius Malema to come back to the EFF when the time is ready? Because he must remain in the EFF or remain aligned to the EFF, where he's a sympathizer like you and I. We sympathize with the EFF, but we are not in the running of the EFF. Do you think the EFF has enough? I don't know what to. I don't find an English way to label. They've got enough of this thing that we want from them to do it? Unpack it for us.
I think the EFF has enough intellectual capacity within their ranks to do it, to lead this country. And going back to what you were saying as to where can we park Julius, I think he should actually remain in the top 6, maybe as a chairperson, just to make sure that he occupies a position and doesn't feel outside of these decision-making structures. He should remain within the EFF, and maybe that will keep him busy and not disgruntled enough to want to go somewhere else. Because the truth is, Julius Malema does actually have a huge following, and if he were to leave the EFF, he may take more than half of the voting public for the EFF. I think, yes, I definitely think he would take more than half of the voting population of the EFF. So we need to keep him within the EFF. They need to keep him within the EFF, but then there needs to be structure around how to keep him busy and also how to keep him quiet as well, because he can ruin anything that the EFF is working on just by saying one thing, and he also controls a huge media following. So, yeah, and what was the question again?
The question was, do they have capacity within the EFF to come up with a way that says, Julius, you're not leaving. So the DA has the federal what. They can go and pack someone. He's still senior. And in fact, with the DA, it's a very extreme example, because wherever they packed Helen Zille, she's still more senior than everyone who's running the party.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So they've made a parallel thing where seniors are in the ANC, maybe they will call it the Veterans League, where they could pack someone. He's not involved in the operations of the political party, but they are still there. So maybe you would take like Bugadi and Wompofu, you would sit them somewhere.
Yes.
And then Floyd runs this operation of this organization. Because this year they are going to the elective conference. So they might as well talk about these policies of how we need to do, because they need to rejuvenate themselves. So that was what I was asking you.
Okay. You know, I think I answered that, because with the chairpersonship.
Yes, but you are inside the party. You are running the party every day for the chairperson.
Because I don't think the EFF currently can have organization, parallel organization like your Veterans League within the organization.
Yes.
Because I think even he wouldn't agree to such a thing. So he needs to feel like he's in charge. He always says, I'm in charge.
The problem is he's larger than life.
Yes.
Like, he can't be, the people who left, they said, well, Andile himself, and I had the privilege of speaking to Andile. Julius Malema is larger than life. You see, you big, you take the whole room. Julius Malema is like that. And I don't think him being the chairperson, the president or the deputy president would feel they're in control. So he needs to leave, but without leaving.
Then it's not going to happen.
So you agree, they don't have enough capacity to do it. Currently, they don't have enough capacity to pack him and then while he's still in the phone.
No, I don't think they do.
And this, let me qualify it. We're not saying Floyd wants to contest him. Whenever the media tries to throw this bone at the EFF, of course with negative intentions, Julius Malema has come out clear to say he has never lost a conference in his life. And he feels so confident that even if Floyd were to contest Julius will win. Julius qualifies it by saying it doesn't make him think less of Floyd. It's because of how strong he thinks. This man has defeated Cyril Ramaphosa, has defeated Jacob Zuma. This is how strong Julius is. And when we say he has won against Julius and Cyril, don't get us wrong, people who don't understand the politics of ANC. We mean the slaves that were controlled by these people. Julius Malema defeated them. This is what we're talking about. Yes, Julius Malema is a monster. He will tell you from his student politics. Well, Julius Malema student politics, they don't really correlate. But I'm saying from his youth league politics, from COSAS, Julius Malema has never lost a conference. And we're not saying Floyd wants to contest him. We want to get it clear because Lena fighters, you fight a lot just about anything. When we say something, we need to qualify it because now you are labeling me or now in my channel I hate Julius. But anyway, so here's the thing. Julius can be parked. We both agree at their current state because they don't have anywhere to park him. Can they move him outside the party? So in the Cyril way, Cyril left the party. Yes, he left the party and he went into business. Can Julius go in? He can't go into academia.
No.
He can't go into Chapter 9 institutions.
No.
He's too much a political animal that everywhere you go, he's going to outshine whatever the thing is. So he did not have a good transition going into African politics where he was going to, he was fighting the Francophone unit in the African Union, in the African Parliament. So can he go there into Africa? Because that's a viable thing. Because remember, Nkosana Dlamini Zuma went there.
Yes.
And she came back. Can we send him there?
Because
no one in South Africa is best suited for that than Julius. Can he go there?
The problem is, maybe he can.
Maybe he can.
Yeah.
Because the battle with the Francophone Africa will now get better because both Traore have come up. Yes, Senegal has come up. Francophone is not as European aligned, France aligned as it was. So maybe it's the time for Julius to go.
Sure, I think he can, but especially with regards to the message that he's spreading of African unity.
Yes.
But if he does go that route, it would still take him a long time to get that message across, even within Africa.
Yeah.
Because most African leaders are dictators. That's the thing. And then with himself as well, he's showing traits of that within his own political party. But if he was to go there, I think that would be a more suitable position for him, because the EFF does not control power within South Africa. And if they did, perhaps a position or a business position would be created for him, or some sort of partnership would be created for him to lead in some sense. But currently there's nothing like that. But with positions like that, they would require the ANC's buy-in and other political parties, especially in a situation in which we have a government of national unity. Perhaps if the EFF contemplate such a move, then they would have to join into the GNU right now and then see later as to, it would need someone who's cunning, who's forward-thinking to do that. But anything is possible. Anything is possible.
All right, so we're speaking about this. By the time this goes out, we might have a new government in South Africa. And we would wait, maybe, I don't know how long we'd wait to see the portfolios in our executive. Whoever becomes the president will then have time, more time to bargain, to work on his bargaining chips and form a government with an executive of ministers. Should Floyd not get any executive position in the ministries, do you think it would be a futile year for the EFF? Because already they're hemorrhaging in terms of numbers, because now they're less than 10%. So if they don't get anything, because now they want, previously they did not want, and they're strong and they did not want position. Now they want something in.
I think we are reading too much into what the EFF has lost. Because the EFF has not really lost that much. They've only lost around 300,000 voters.
That come from Natal.
Yes,
because
that come from
300,000 votes came from Natal in 2019.
Yes. And then the DA also lost votes as well in this election. And many people don't actually...
Because we wanted DA to collapse in our majority, but it didn't. It stuck strong, and that's why people are saying, how can people fall but DA remains strong?
It remained
strong, because everyone is collapsing, but they remain strong.
Yes.
Because with the exception of MK.
Yes. And I feel that when the ANC announced that they were contemplating a government of national unity, I felt that was just a plot really to sideline political parties like the EFF and the MK, because they know that they wanted to work with the DA, but they could not come out and clearly state that these are our preferred partners for the coalition. And then they just used this government of national unity to
frustrate EFF.
To frustrate the...
Because they already said they don't want GNU.
Exactly. The parties like the EFF and MK as well. Because with MK, we know that Zuma will not work with Cyril Ramaphosa. You see. Yeah. So this was a very, very smart move by the ANC. And even though we know that it is influenced by capital, it, in a way, will seem legitimate, because the EFF and the MK would have taken themselves out of the race. So, I know.
The horrors of democracy. I hate democracy. Let me tell you, democracy is so much a mirage. MK dominates in a space where it was also expected to dominate in Natal. They by themselves don't have enough seats because they did not get 50+1.
Yeah.
These smaller parties, they connive behind MK.
Yeah.
They go and intend to form government in Natal. By the time we release this, MK might be official opposition in Natal, where they've got more support than anyone, and you tell me that is democracy. They are even taking NFP. Remember NFP?
Yes, of course.
Seat to go in.
But I do not think that will happen.
Why?
Something will happen between now and...
No, it might
Friday.
happen, but not last. How about that?
Okay, let me put it like this.
Yeah.
I believe that the MK party sorry, will work with the EFF, the NFP, and disgruntled members within the ANC.
Say it again.
I believe that MK will work with the EFF, the NFP, and disgruntled members within the ANC to govern KwaZulu-Natal.
Wait, so you're saying they will connive
within
whenever they get there, and you will have hostile voters who pretend they are voting for for that DA aligned.
But then
they give
because currently it will be a stalemate between between MK and the DA, IFP, and ANC.
Okay.
Yes, between MK and EFF and NFP, it will be 40 seats each. So I believe that there will be members within the ANC that will vote for MK once that time actually comes.
Very interesting, and that's unfortunate. We hope to release this before all those shenanigans happen. Maybe we're lucky he will preempt it, and then it works out the way he says, because it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely that MK will be toppled. We're saying toppled in this sense because, I mean, they are premier candidate material. If they don't do it, it will be a calamity.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, on national government, I don't want to discuss national government, this national government of national unity. I've also lamented my dissatisfaction about that. So, in closing, what is it that you want to talk about the failures of ANC and why they lost government in your personal capacity? You as what did the ANC fail you on? I understand you said in the big scheme of things, they wanted to control the narrative, they had capital, who funded them, they controlled government, institutions. So we grew up thinking this image of the ANC, and you said it's wrong. But when as an individual, what are the ANC policies that affected you that you think this is a failure as a young person, and unpack it for us?
I think the failure to give grants to young people, grants, business grants, to have policies in which it would be easier for young people to get such grants to go into business. Also the failure to get business to actually play an active role in our democracy and in making sure that young people are given the opportunities that they deserve. They always say in the ANC that it is not the government that creates jobs, it's business. But then they failed to make sure that actually happens. Yes, they failed to make sure that happens. They also failed to create jobs for young people. I mean, what kind of country is this when which there is such a high unemployment rate, more than like nearly 40% of the population, and more than 60% of the youth are unemployed?
Very dangerous. That's very dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous. Like, I don't understand how that can even be.
Because whenever there's a spark, those unemployed people take advantage.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing to gain. So I want you to finish, and I want to unpack something directly because you just reminded me of something, but finish. Okay.
And in my case as well, I've been unemployed for the past 9 years. Since graduating from the University of Limpopo. And I don't even know how many interviews and applications I've sent through. And the thing is, the ANC government is only now trying to rectify some of their mistakes, which is a bit too late. There was a bill in which the employment equity bill, I think it's being changed, in which the government and business will be expected to provide, I think, at least 6%, or to provide jobs within their employment for at least 6% of disabled people, people living with disabilities. So I think that was long overdue. I think that's being touted right now, but it hasn't been signed as yet as into law. But it's something that is being spoken about, and those are just some of the things that the ANC has really done that have hurt not only me but most of the youth within this country.
Okay, so that's it impacting you directly.
Yes.
So let me ask you a quick direct question. A morbidly obese person are you declared as disabled? You are not fully abled like me, but
yes.
Do companies who hire you do they tick a box of hiring someone who's disabled?
I don't think so, but then that actually should be the case.
Yeah.
Because morbid obesity is actually a disability in most countries. But then in this one, it isn't seen as such immediately.
Yeah.
You have to go through a lot of hoops in order for it to eventually be seen as a disability. And with companies, I've went to many interviews in which you get laughed at, even just as you get into the door of the interview room, and no, here then it's not going to happen. You're not going to get hired. So
already you are given the results of the interview by their demeanor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are in an interview, it doesn't work out. But I've tried so many times to get employment.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm at the point where we should just say, what's one?
No, I'm happy you are now doing this, because you would know I've always said, come, do this. But here's the thing. So I'll tell you why I was saying 60% unemployment is dangerous. So in the channel, I've spoken a lot about the kitchen N. I don't know who must go. So if you want to know what the kitchen N, let me say it once and not repeat it. Kitchen nigger. So a kitchen N, for people who don't know, it's someone who's oppressed differently from the rest of the people in the plantation. So in that oppression, you get certain advantages. So when this whole thing collapses, it means me as a kitchen N, I'm going to suffer the same way as the rest. So a kitchen N, once the status quo favors the kitchen N, so those will be your Ramaphosas, the billionaires, the Mozipes. And as it trickles down, do you know what it does? I'm a hard worker. I want to work harder so that I am above the normal struggle of people. So the system automatically creates kitchen ends from people who work hard. So let me explain. So you are not affected by the 60% people who are suffering. That the reason I'm saying it's dangerous is whenever there's an opportunity or a revolution, I've worked hard to find my certain comfort in this struggle. Yeah. So I've actually made myself a kitchen end. Do you realize that? Yes, because I have a house there, I have a house there, I have a job here, and I've made streams of income. Yeah. Even though people are suffering, I'm suffering better than them. Yes. So the system has created a kitchen end out of me. So whenever there's a revolution, what do I want? I say, no, don't do it. Yeah. Because what it means, if you do it, you are going to dismantle my whole hard work. Yes. And then I'll I'll be just like ordinary person.
Yeah.
But someone who's poor and who has not done anything, this system, if they say, no, let's have a revolution, he has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Do you understand how the system is? People have told me to ask the MK comrades, and I have to say, when you say we are struggling and we are going to struggle and let's have a revolution or a revolt, who are you revolting? Are you revolting against the other kitchen ends? Are you revolting against the system because you are not going to Dubula down Oppenheimer in Cape Town?
No. Yeah.
But he's the system owner. Yes, he's the system administrator.
Sure.
He's the one that puts the password on how the operating system must run. But he's on the network. He's blocking things. You see, he's the system owner. So
Sure.
the revolt should actually about the administrator. But it's not, and it won't. You see what happened in July unrest.
Sure.
The people, nothing. It's our people died.
Yeah.
Our people lost jobs, and certain industries closed people out deliberately because this capital has money, right? They can wait out things.
Yeah.
So people wait out. They sit at home, and those TVs, they can't eat with those TVs.
Sure.
So, in a way, does it help us? Well, you doubt, because even if we revolt against this government, the same people who are controlling this government, who are telling this government what to do, they will still be in power. They are still going to elect the new government. You can see what they're doing to MK.
Sure.
They just, because of their money, they influence the smaller parties to not go with ANC. Of course, IFP says they did try to engage MK, but MK was non-committal. They could not meet. They could not honor the meeting. Blah blah blah. That's why because they want PR as well to protect themselves. But all I'm saying is, it's difficult to have 60% because those people are dangerous. But when they revolt, who wins? Who gains? I'm putting it to you. You have to answer it. Because I don't know. I don't know what to have, because essentially what it means, because now I'm not affected by the 60% unemployment.
Yes.
So I've actually rendered myself a kitchen end.
I think before anything like a revolt happens, we need to convince the 21% of kitchen ends within the DA to
come back home.
To come back.
They won't. They won't.
But it needs to be done. It needs to be done, at least in order for us to find each other and find a way of handling the situation without the revolution. Without the revolution, there needs to be a smarter way of doing this, because even the 60%, even though they are actually struggling, I do not think that this country could survive a revolution.
By the way, the 60% is just the figure that we came up with. We're not saying it's scientific. So you understand that Helen Zille chucked off people from her party.
Yeah.
Those people still did not come to us. They formed a small conclaves called Bosa. So these people don't want to be with us. They don't want to be with us.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They are African people who are working for Freedom Front Plus. There's a meme that says, if it was DA sitting on 40 and Freedom Front Plus sitting on 11, we would be having a government now.
Definitely.
Not negotiations.
No. It would be a done deal. A done deal.
Their pigment would have generated government easy.
Same time, because I mean they are fighting for the same thing. They are fighting for the same thing, and we shouldn't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
They are fighting for white privilege. They are fighting for white domination.
Yeah,
and that's what economically we are in. We're in a white-dominated economy. Yeah. And that needs to change. That needs to change.
Okay, Spola, I think let's close it. Please tell the people where they can watch your content And if there's anything you want to share about your experiences in the reality TV that you're doing, and that has opened doors for you, and I see your numbers are skyrocketing on TikTok, and this could be a potential to grow, and I'm happy you chose this route after what the system, I don't want to call it the system, what the circumstances after you graduating, even like, please just explain it to them, especially how this new role, how you are now doing.
Please follow me and subscribe also to my YouTube channel. It's called The Big Podcast with Elon as well. And
you are seeing it down here.
And also my TikTok is Elon_Mogale. I've been on a very long journey to lose weight, and I'm hopeful that soon that will actually happen. With the show that I'm currently on, right now we are on a production break, but then we're still busy with other things like you're exercising, you're eating right. So please do watch it when we do come back for season 2. It's on Moja Love, channel 157 on DSTV. It's called Heavyweight. And I appreciate your support, and please do help me with this journey. And thank you very much for watching this podcast.
Tell them what the show is about.
So the show is about helping obese people lose weight. People like myself, there are 4 of us on the show, and they're going to help us with regards to getting gastric bypass surgery. They are going to pay for it, and everything really will be done by them. And all what we need to do is to just continue with and go ahead with whatever the help that they give to us. They've provided things like your personal trainers, your gym memberships, and also they give us funding in order for us to buy right foods and things like that. So it's really a holistic process, really, in which they just help us with all the tools that we need to lose weight. And it's a really great exercise, I believe. Hopefully soon I'll be a different person. I'll definitely come back here and you'll see me. You'll see me with a six-pack.
You're going to do a rap party on us.
Sure.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for staying this long. Please subscribe to his podcast. He's a very interesting speaker. You could hear the thing that he says. Watch his channel as well. Just follow him. You will get very interesting guys. And then for the youngers, that's your man. Thank you very much. That's a wrap from Politically Incorrect. If you stay this far, man, just do us a favor. Give me a subscription if you haven't. It's free of charge. And also go and give him his. Thank you. Out. I'm out. Laila Moore.
Thank you guys. Sharp.
Ola.